certainly an honor to be here today and for you to have asked me to record these remarks that I made in a skit previously to two ladies groups in Decatur and Atlanta. They gave me no direction on what the subject should be, but I selected one, and it was contrived, so to speak, but was called A Recollection of Tunes and Theater in Atlanta. Along the way, also, we're going to talk about many things that have a familiar ring to them to you. And we're going to talk about Atlanta's experience with hostile fire. And it was of considerable interest to me since my career as a professional engineer was essentially in fire protection engineering work. And as you know, fire in theaters has been particularly disastrous through the years. And you might remember that the Phantom of the Opera in our day has that tinge to it too. Well, I heard a lot about the songs of before World War I, but that's about the time I started learning some songs. But my mother told me a lot about songs during ragtime and the romantic period that followed that. And she was particularly good at that, but she attended, Mother did, finishing school, Miss Hannah's school in Atlanta on Peachtree Street, right near where the First Methodist Church is now located. And at that time, she appeared in the chorus of a production at the Grand Theater. And that was around 1912, I guess. And that production it had a title that's not quite politically correct these days. It was called Jackie Land. And I always thought it was a sort of a takeoff on Gilbert and Sullivan's Macadam. But she said that Chip Robert had the lead in that play, and Chip was a recent graduate of Georgia Tech, and he was lionized by society, and everyone was so happy to have Chip there. Mother mentioned that she also attended plays at a theater called the Forsyth Theater, and it was located in Forsyth Street, right near where the old Lansley Hotel or the Tinkler Plaza Hotel used to be. And she said that she saw many great actors there, including Douglas Fairbanks, and she saw Mary Pickford there. But her favorite was one that I had never heard of. Emma Bunting was her favorite actress, and she liked that very much. Mother played the piano, and we sang a lot in those days. And it was an old upright that her father had given her when she was a little girl. And she played all the old songs, and she had quite a collection of sheet music that we used. And some of those songs mainly were the ones from World War I that I started on. Pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, 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 while you've a Lucifer to light your fag. Smile, boys, that's the style. What's the use of worrying? It never was worthwhile. So pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile. Then she went, it's a long way to Tipperary, it's a long way to go. It's a long way to Tipperary, to the sweetest girl I know. So goodbye Piccadilly, farewell Leicester Square. It's a long, long way to Tipperary, but my heart's right there. Up to mighty London came an Irishman a day. Sure the streets were paved with gold, so everyone was gay, singing songs of Piccadilly, Strand and Leicester Square. To Patty got excited and he shouted to them there, it's a long way to Tipperary, it's a long way to go. It's a long way to Tipperary, to the sweetest girl I know. So goodbye Piccadilly, farewell Leicester Square. It's a long, long way to Tipperary, but my heart's right there. Then one that was a real sentimental song. Roses are shining in Picardy, 'neath the hush of the silver dew. Roses are flowering in Picardy, but there's never a rose like you. Oh, the roses, they die with the summertime, and the roads may be far apart, but the one rose that dies not in Picardy is the rose that I keep in my heart. Then I remember those Irish songs, so particularly loved by my father, and we sang many of them. And one of the ones that was so good was Sure a Little Bit of Heaven. Have you ever heard the story of how Ireland got its name? If you listen in, you'll understand from whence old Ireland came. No wonder that we're proud of that dear land across the sea, for here's the way me dear old mother told the tale to me. Sure, a little bit of heaven fell from out the sky one day, and it nestled on the ocean in a spot so far away. And when the angels found it, sure it looked so sweet and fair, they said, suppose we leave it, for it looks so peaceful there. Then they sprinkled it with stardust just to make the shamrock grow. 'Tis the only place you'll find 'em, no matter where you go. Then they dotted it with silver to make its lake so grand, and when they had it finished, sure they called it Ireland. There's a pretty spot in Ireland I'll always claim for my land, where the fairy and the blarney will never, never die. 'Tis the land of the shillelagh. My heart goes back there daily to the girl I left behind me when we kissed and said goodbye. Where dear old Shannon's flowing, where the three-leaf shamrock grows, where my heart it is I am going to my little Irish rose. And the moment that I meet her, with hug and kiss I'll greet her, for there's not a colleen sweeter where the river Shannon flows. Sure no letter I'll be mailing, for soon will I be sailing, and I bless the ship that takes me to that dear old Erin shore. There we'll settle down forever, we'll leave the old sod never, and I'll whisper to my sweetheart, come and take my name Esthor. Then we had some limericks and some songs, and some of them are not so good for presentations such as this in genteel company, but I learned some from some Boston fellows in the Army had one that I liked, and it was good. Did you ever visit an Irishman shanty where money was scarce but whiskey was plenty? A broken down stool and a table to match, and a door nailed up without any latch. Then we come to the Roaring Twenties, and there's no song that epitomizes the Roaring Twenties better than this one. Button up your overcoat when the wind blows free. Take good care of yourself, you belong to me. Eat an apple every day, get to bed by 3. Take good care of yourself, you belong to me. Be careful crossing streets, cut out sweets, Don't eat meats. Or you'll awake with a pain in your tum-tum. Stay away from bootleg booze when you're on a spree. Take good care of yourself. You belong to me. Now, during those years, we had the Atlanta Theater, which was located at Exchange Place, right across from the Hurt Building in Atlanta. A parking deck just replaced it in recent years. I remember my dad taking me there as a little boy to see a Fields Minstrel. The Atlanta Theater was, of course, built for a legitimate stage, one of the productions, but later on went to movies, and then later on became a burlesque house. And Snooky Woods gave her striptease there in the later years. So it had quite a history, the Atlanta Theater. Motion pictures came in, and we'll talk about those for a minute. They were downtown. Many theaters were downtown. Of course, started off downtown, and you had the Paramount Theater, which was previous to the Howard Theater on Peachtree Street. And up the street, you had the Capitol and the Ritz up on the Peachtree Ridge. And they provided vaudeville and also motion pictures at the same time, same production. At 5 Points, we had the Bonita Theater, and it was a burlesque house right in 5 Points in Atlanta. And we had Alamo #1 in Atlanta, right there in motion picture theater, right in 5 Points. And we had the Cameo Theater right in 5 Points. And the Alamo #2 Theater was down on Broad Street across from Rich's. And the Rialto Theater was on Forsyth Street. And it's still there now, of course, and taken over by Georgia State University. The Bailey's 81 was, of course, down on Decatur Street. And then the I remember that there was I don't remember those things, but there was some other theaters in Atlanta called the Lyric, and they had Keith Vaudeville there. It was located across from where the Lowe's Grand is now. And we had the Star and the Gales Theater, and of course the Lyceum, and we had the Bijou. They were all theaters in Atlanta. Now, another house of note, you'd be surprising enough, is Atlanta Auditorium, or Atlanta Auditorium Armory. They even had Grand Opera there from time to time. And then, and I recall that my high school graduation from Tech High School in Atlanta took place at the Auditorium Armory, which is right across from where Georgia State University is now. Then we had the neighborhood theaters, all sprung up like mushrooms all around the city. The Pattis Theater in Little 5 Points, the Little 5 Points Theater, the Euclid Theater, the Madison Theater, Decatur Theater, the DeKalb, Empire, Temple, Kirkwood, the Buckhead, Emory, Garden Hills, and Plaza Theater, the Rhodes Theater, and many others that were around. In 1929 came the great opening of the theater, the Fox Theater in Atlanta in 1929. And that everyone had to go see the first picture there, which was called Sunny Side Up. And its title song went like this. Keep your sunny side up, up, hide the side that feels blue. If you have 9 suns in a row, baseball teams make money, you know. Keep your sunny side up, up, hide the side that feels blue. Stand upon your legs, be like 2 fried eggs. Keep your sunny side up. Well, that was a great time at the Fox.